Absolutely shit news. Rodri ACL injury. He's out for the entire season, it looks like. I'd love to come on here and blame Arsenal completely on it, but you can't blame Arsenal on everything on this because, yes, they did go out to injure him yesterday completely, but partly of this is our fault. We had the chance to get a CDM in the summer. Bruno Guimaraes was available. I'm sure if we made an offer to Bayern Munich for Kimmich, we could have got him for like 40 million, something like that. And we decided to bring Gundogan back, who's not a CDM. I know he can play there, but he's more of an 8 than a CDM. Rather than getting an actual CDM. I love Gundogan, but we should have made more of an effort to get a CDM in. Because Kovacic is good there. Stones is decent there. But he needs to play alongside someone. Because when it was alongside Rodri, Stones did really well. He was absolutely brilliant. Alongside Rodri, he was brilliant. In the season where we won the treble. But when he's on his own in CDM, he struggles a bit. We've got Nico O'Reilly who can play there, who did decent in pre-season. But I wouldn't want to be going into a game where we're playing like Liverpool at Anfield or Arsenal at the Emirates, going into the game with Nico O'Reilly at CDM, because I don't think he's good enough for that yet anyway. But the only silver lining is that it happened this season and not last season, because this season our record without Rodri has been much better compared to our record without Rodri last season. Because I think the only game we won without Rodri last season was Luton at home, who obviously got relegated. This season we've beaten United in the Community Shield, big team. We've gone to Chelsea and won without Rodri. We've gone to West Ham, difficult away ground to go to, without Rodri, and we got the win. We beat Ipswich at home with no Rodri. I know Ipswich are not a great side, but playing a newly promoted side early on in the season is always tricky because that's when they're going to be up for it the most. But we've got to get a CDM in January. I know we don't normally buy players in January, but we've got to get a CDM in January. Go and try and see if you can go to Bayern Munich, offer 40 million, get Kimmich through the door, and then this problem is sorted. If we don't get a CDM in January, I'm worried. Well, we'll have to see how we do without him first, like with this injury. But to be a top team, you have to be a team that's quality as a whole and not reliant on individual players. We've shown that we can do it without Kevin De Bruyne in the past, but we haven't really shown it that we can do it without Rodri for this length of time in the past. So it's going to be a massive challenge, but I think City can do it because we've got Kovacic, Stones, Nico O'Reilly, Gundogan can play there. We might buy someone in January. But it's just a situation that could have been avoided because we could have got one in the summer, and there was players there to be bought in the CDM position that we didn't get, which was frustrating. But it was naive that. It was really naive not to get a CDM from the City board. There were CDMs available. Bruno G was there. Even though it's a lot of money, if we got him, we wouldn't be in this mess of this Rodri injury. If we got any CDM, we wouldn't be in this mess for this Rodri injury. But we didn't get a CDM in the summer. We can go on about how dirty Arsenal were yesterday and how they went out there to try and injure him. But the reality is, if we had have been less naive in the transfer market and got in a CDM, then we wouldn't be in this situation of worrying about Rodri's injury, because if we got a CDM, yes, the CDM wouldn't have been as good as Rodri, but it could have still been a top-class player that is good enough to fill in for Rodri, and we can still win games without Rodri because of that player playing. But we're in a situation because of our naive board of not getting a CDM and focusing on other players like Savinho and Gundogan when we should have been getting a CDM when that was supposed to be the main priority. And it was so clear and obvious that the position that we needed the most in the summer was a CDM, and we didn't get one because our board was too naive. Absolutely bollocks. I'm going to leave it there because otherwise I just end up swearing and ranting for like various minutes, and then I might end up getting demonetized, and I don't want to do that. So, because you never know who's watching these videos. It could be like an 8-year-old kid. So, yeah. Take care. Rodri is out for the entire season. It's going to be a hell of a ride, but we can do it. Come on, City.